Hey, Omni Dogs and Omni Kittens. It's Omni Dog here with Omni Dog's Vault and Root Beer Reviews, where I review comic books and discuss my favorite root beer. And I have a new root beer to try. This one's a little easier to find than some of my previous root beers. We're going to give it a shot. This is Boylan root beer. This is easier to find than some of my other ones. Still, it's a boutique one, so it may be take some digging, but I believe it has countrywide distribution in the US. So let's give it a try. Smells good. Foamy. Good and foamy. Mmm. Omnidog may have a new favorite. Boylan is awesome. This may just be a video of me drinking Boylan the whole time. Mighty fine, and I'll be setting it far away from my laptop. Some of you may have seen a video I made a few weeks ago, and I accidentally dumped a beverage on my laptop and fried the whole thing. So this is me coming to you from a new laptop. Maybe the picture's better, or maybe you can see my face even better. That makes it worse. So that's up to you. But we're going to be talking about DC Rebirth. Rebirth-O-Rama is what it's going to be. I'm continuing my journey through DC Rebirth. And the good news is all the books today, I can just tell you right away, I liked a lot. You should get them, and I'll tell you why in each book. But generally, these are excellent books. And I'm going to start with the biggest surprise, because this book, I thought to myself, who asked for this book? Who even thought this book was interesting? Do I care about this book? And the answer is, yeah, it's a really good book. That is New Superman. This book is about Superman and a Justice League team, not affiliated with the Justice League team in America, but in China. And I thought to myself, why do I care about that? And then I shut my mouth, read the book, and it's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it a lot. I can tell you right now, first thing, it's by Gene Luen Yang. He's the writer. He's famous for American Born Chinese, which is a great graphic novel. Victor Bogdanovich was the penciler. Richard Friend the inker. And, of course, great colors by the Hi-Fi Studio. The colors pop off this page. Hi-Fi stuff is becoming some of my favorite stuff. And I will show you some pics here in a sec. The reason this is good is they take a snot-nosed, young, arrogant kid off the streets of China. And this is a sub... Well, I don't even know if it's government-sponsored. It's an organization, a secret organization that has already created Chinese Batman and Wonder Woman through some magical formula, that stuff they inhale and it gives them superpowers. But Batman is a respectable Batman. Wonder Woman is a great Wonder Woman. She has a lasso and everything. And in this book, ostensibly they're speaking in Mandarin, but of course it's translated into the English. And Superman has a lot of arrogance. He's really just a teenager. And he has a lot of arrogance, and it's they continually try to beat it out of him in various scenarios, and they can't really. He's just got this arrogant confidence about him, and also a little bit of superhero in him, but they do a good job of creating a character who initially wants to be a superhero because he thinks it'll help him score points with a pretty reporter named, like, Lois Lane or something. Let's see, I can't remember her name off the top of my head. She's something like that. It's the Chinese version of Lois Lane. And they develop his character, and he becomes he won't do any of his studies, won't do any of his homework. They keep him in this organization and try and train him, but a lot of times he breaks out and does a bunch of stuff on his own or with the other members of the team. He's not very good at taking orders. And let's delve into some of this. Here's a pretty cool picture right here. This is one of the things they need to defeat, this multi-headed serpent. But look at that picture. Look at the colors just pop and how nicely that's rendered. Let's see. Let's take another look. It's got some very good paneling. He accidentally reveals himself on television because he wants to impress this girl so much. And the book does a really good job of showing further characterization of this character. A developing sense of responsibility. He discovers all kinds of things. The book comes with an interesting twist that I saw coming. I saw the interesting twist, but I didn't see the ending of this first book. As far as I know, there's only one book so far. I know it's out in singles, but I saw the twist coming, but I didn't see the cliffhanger ending. That was a good one. They sprung that on me, and I was like, whoa. And here is an homage to Action Comics #1 that's really nicely done. There's New Superman. So I highly recommend people pick this up and give it a chance. It is a lot of fun. And why do we read comic books? We don't read comic books so we can rant and rave and be negative. There's too much of that in the world anyway. These are a fun means of escape and a way to enjoy the medium that can do so many things, so many different ways. If you want to have fun, get New Superman. I really, really enjoyed it. Well written, fabulous art and colors. I'm getting dry, so I need a little Boylan here. My wife doesn't like it that I swish soda around in my mouth. She thinks it's giving me cavities or something. But that's how you tell if it's good, if a root beer is good, because you got to swish it around to see if it's foamy or not. Because root beer without foam, well, that's just a dumb concept. Decent. I like it a lot. The next book I read, lenticular cover, Flash, Batman, Button Deluxe Edition. This book was excellent. It's pretty thin, so it's an easy read. Let's see if I can pick an uncomplicated, because it's very, the art is good. It's very detailed, so I want to make sure I can do it justice showing it here. This is more about the button that was found in Batman's Batcave, the Watchman button. So to read this, you will need to know, as I've said in my guide to Rebirth, you're going to need to know a little bit about Flashpoint. You're going to need to know a little bit about Watchmen. You're going to need to know about Flashpoint Flash and Flashpoint Batman. But it's all worth it. You can Wikipedia that stuff, get up to speed, or you can look at my Rebirth guide on YouTube, which will tell you how to get up to speed if you want to read all this stuff. This book is excellent. It helps to move the mystery along as to what's happening in this Rebirth universe, why Flash has certain memories, why Batman has certain memories, all about the letter that was delivered to Batman from his father from Flashpoint. And of course, you can see in here, we've got that old scumbag, Reverse Flash. Flash's, I would say, major nemesis. Art is great, and the book is written very tightly and nicely. Very interesting, moves the puzzle along. Very nice. And you can read this, I would say, after you don't need to have, I would say after you do need to have a little Flash Rebirth knowledge. So read Rebirth Flash, read Rebirth Batman, and of course you have to read Rebirth Deluxe Edition for Rebirth itself, and then you can pretty much jump into it. And this is the edition, as I said, that has the cool lenticular cover. I don't think the button appears on the cover in Europe because somebody actually owns the smiley face in Europe, if you can believe that. That's amazing. Even the back cover is lenticular. If I can show it right, there he's dissolving into a skeleton. So, Batman Flash Rebutton, the Button Rebirth is an excellent book that I think you will enjoy. Then I read 2 Aquaman trade paperbacks. I enjoyed these a lot. I have to say, I'm kind of getting a little tired of it's almost turned into a meme of what a joke Aquaman is. Jeff Johns did a good job of exploring that and exploding that in the New 52 run. I don't think he's almost a beaten down superhero where he really, it's hard for him to get respect in this book. It's hard for him to get respect underwater and on land. And so it's a difficult journey for him. The art is great. The writing's by Dan Abnett, so I think it's really good too. The whole story here is that he's dealing with another secret organization that is trying to foment distrust and paranoia of Atlantis by the Drylanders, and foment distrust of the Drylanders by the people of Atlantis. And this is how Aquaman the Diplomat is trying to solve things. He solves things diplomacy-wise, but there's plenty of punch-outs too. Here he's in a fight with Black Manta. So you can see that the art is actually really good. So these books go into detail more, and Mira plays a very strong part in these books. So it goes into detail of his struggle. So I like that part, sort of humanizing the amphibious guy. And then this book, of course, goes further into his battle with the secret organization. And as I said, there's lots of Mira in this. She's a complete badass in this book. I really like her characterization a lot. And I think you'll like Aquaman a lot. There's 3 trades out right now. I just read the first 2 because it finishes the story arc and I didn't want to start another story arc. Highly enjoyable. Really recommend it. The next book was recommended to me. I'm trying to read all of Rebirth, but I'm not going to read certain books. At the end of this video, I'll tell you what books to avoid. I'm going to concentrate on what books to read, and I'll tell you what books to avoid. They're apparently so bad that I'm not even buying them. My friend from Wales in the UK, Ryan Sace, has read all of Rebirth and recommends certain things to me and tells me what to stay away from. So I appreciate that from him. He highly recommended Green Arrow, and he's absolutely right. Green Arrow is really good. It talks about Oliver Queen, and he's in Seattle, and this is a dark page, but it shows him meeting with Black Canary, who's a rock star, punk singer. She's, of course, a total badass, and Oliver Queen does sort of recognize her. So there's a little bit of Rebirth Flashpoint stuff going on in here, because when they meet, they don't know each other. The art's great, and we've got lots of very cool fight scenes, but also lots of good, as I say all the time, characterization and developing that characterization. There is stuff that goes on. There's a conspiracy that's going on involving Oliver Queen's own business. He ends up out of the business, out of money, out of a place to live due to this conspiracy, and it's about his struggle to get some things back. But in the meantime, still fight the powers that are undermining him and who he recruits to do that. So this is an excellent book. Benjamin Percy, who's a new writer to me, not familiar with his work, but totally knocks it out of the park in this. This book's a little bit darker colored with a little bit darker storyline. So you can see right here the colors are a little bit darker than in some of the other books. Highly recommend Green Arrow Rebirth. The Death and Life of Oliver Queen. Then I read 2 more books, and then after that, just 1 more book. We've got Supergirl, featuring Batgirl, Trapped in the Phantom Zone. These were pretty good. I have to admit, I'm totally a Supergirl fan, so I just want a reasonably decent story of Supergirl, and I will probably fall in love with it. So if you're a Supergirl fan, you will like these books. If you're not a fan, these books have a good chance of converting you into a fan. But I don't know if you can go into this. You can go into it cold, knowing nothing of Supergirl. They do a good job of establishing her character, and they do a good job of creating the world around her, so to speak. And I found it, I just loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It gives her sort of, not a foe, but her father comes back in sort of cybernetic form, and he's supposed to be long gone. So that's a mystery she has to solve. And then in the second book, she gets trapped in the Phantom Zone with Batgirl, and of course I love Batgirl, so I really dug that. So I think these books are worth a shot. They're cheap, they're inexpensive paperbacks, not expensive at all. You can give them a try. I think you'll really like them. I really did too. They move the story along carefully, and it's fun, but not in a goofy way. And then the last book I read, which I highly recommend, I should have read. I don't know why they didn't release this first. This should have been released first and not late as it was, and that's Batman Detective Comics. This shows Batman and his new squad there. You got Spoiler, Orphan, Batwoman, Clayface, and Red Robin. And they go through some serious adventures in this. Of course, Red Robin's a brainiac, and he's creating and solving all kinds of technical things. Batman is questioned on why he's creating a team at all. Batwoman's the leader. Clayface is the reformed criminal who helps the team, and they go through a lot together, and I think this book is great. This book is highly entertaining, and it's a very thoughtful book. It has Batman questioning himself a little bit, wondering about certain things, and I think that I can give this easily 5 out of 5 root beers. No question about it. It's got a really good Batwoman in it. Her character is really well written. And I love, as usual, I love Batwoman. So I have a thing for strong female protagonists. So I highly recommend this. This is 5 out of 5 root beers. You definitely have to get this. And I would get it and read it even before, if you can, before Tom King's Batman. I think this sets the stage for a lot of other Batman-related things and really needs to be read first, if you can. So that wraps it up. Me and my Boylan wraps it up. And the books to stay away from, according to Ryan, and I didn't even get, are Blue Beetle, JL, Justice League, and Hellblazer. I read Hellblazer, big disappointment. So try and stay away from those 3 books and you'll be okay. And I'll be back with more Rebirth and more vids in a few minutes, as a matter of fact. I'm going to do some more. So as usual, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Leave comments and I'll do my best to answer them. And we will see you next time on Root Beer Reviews with Omnidog in Omnidog's Vault. Thanks.